Okay, so this session I wanted to talk about runtime context. So this is really about CDK, AWS Cloud Development Kit, and specifically one of the features in CDK. Okay, so CDK, when you are running CDK commands, you are basically like synthesizing your solution for specific AWS accounts. And here I have my CDK solution. Let's see, if I go over to here, I've got my terminal. I know I'm getting deep into this solution, but there's no other way. So CDK ls. So it'll start to run the CDK. I'll try and list all of the resources. At the moment, I've got it built in such a way that it expects context. Okay, so here it says context variable missing on CDK command, see cdk.json for available values, e.g. account number -dev passed in as -config that parameter. Okay, so what it is I don't know if I can run CDK context without that parameter. Okay, so I can. Let me just make this a bit bigger. Okay, so CDK context, so it says context found in cdk.json. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to use context variables, which is the cdk.json file, and I'm trying to store environment variables. So when I want to, say, deploy this solution in the Dev Analytics account, I'm going to deploy a repository and I might deploy a code pipeline. And when I do that, I want to make sure that I have all the relevant, I guess, qualifiers and the CDK file assets bucket already predefined. So the Dev Analytics account, it actually is this account number, and I've just called it Dev. And then in that, I guess, context variable, I've got all of these environment parameters available to me. So I've stored these. So in here, I've got environment. It's just AWS Analytics account. Got the account number abbreviation, so Dev. Environment ID, so that's corresponds to this, the qualifier. So this is the CDK qualifier that was used that I want to deploy this solution against. So if you recall, you've got CDK toolkit when you bootstrap, right? So this is CDK toolkit bootstrapped. One of the parameters here is the qualifier. Again, I'm not going to talk too much in detail on what the qualifier is, but it's just a unique identifier for each CDK toolkit. So you can see this one ends in FDS. Then this CDK toolkit ends in FDT. Okay, so when I deploy my CDK solutions, I'm going to be choosing, am I going to be deploying my solution with this toolkit, this one, or this second one? Okay, so going back to my solution here, I'm saying I want to use the FDS CDK toolkit when I deploy my solution. Then I've just got some other things here. The prefix that's used for S3, the team name, I haven't actually associated a team name, logical name, so this is CDK assets, and the, what is it, the bucket name. So this is the file assets bucket where CDK is going to be storing all of its file assets. So that's the name of that. And then also we've got the execution policy that's associated with this CDK stack itself, the toolkit. So it's just for informational purposes, trusted accounts and subnet. Okay, so when actually, all of this is set up as said up here in the cdk.json file. So if you open up here, you can see that I've got the entry point into CDK. So when I run CDK or any CDK commands, it normally runs this command. But if you are running the context command, then it will look through this data. And here I've added these elements, these 4 elements representing different environments and different environment variables for each of these environments. And you can see the qualifiers that are used in each of these accounts. And again, as I said, the qualifier has to be just unique per account, per region, I think it might be. So here you've got the 310 account, it's ending in FDS, and this is the 446 account. This one also can have the same qualifier because the account numbers are different and unique. Okay, so that's where you enter the context. And so I'm using all of this context information to populate some of these stack variables. So I'm using it in here. So I've got a little function, just this section, that will go and retrieve these few things. So environment name, account ID, environment abbreviation, the qualifier, and the CDK file assets bucket. And I'm going to be using all of these variables in the deployment of each of these stacks. So here I've got a repository stack, and I'm using the account ID multiple places, and here I'm using the qualifier, and I'm also using the CDK file assets bucket. Okay, and then the same for the pipeline stack. I'm doing the same sort of thing. So this is just a nicer way of doing this and keeping everything as parameters, which are stored in here, rather than hard coding the qualifier here, hard coding the S3 bucket here, and then simply, duplicating that for a different environment. Okay, so it just keeps it a little bit more clean. Okay, so what does this really look like? So to run this, I believe I don't have command elsewhere. Okay, so if you look at this command, I'll spread it out a bit, you can see that I'm still running the CDK deploy. I'm specifying which stack that I want to deploy, but I just have to outline, okay, which set of context variables do I want to actually reference? And so I'm referencing this account and this logical environment name, and then that will do a lookup against all my context variables here, find this one, and then it'll provide me access to all of these variables. Once I have access to these variables, then there's my function here that goes and extracts all of the variables out from that JSON string here. Okay, so yeah, it's just a nicer way of storing some environment variables for when you're running the CDK commands. You can just add parameters here, input parameters, and then they get mapped into a whole bunch of different environments. Okay, yes, very technical, but I don't know an easier way to present this. All right, thanks, bye.